Hey guys, welcome back here to Advanced Bass Fishing, and appreciate you guys coming by the channel to check the video out today. And once again, we are going to be talking about the Megabass Magdraft swim bait. The reason I want to do this video today is that it's March 28th at the time of filming this video, and April is the best time of the year, in my opinion, to fish the Magdraft. And like any other lure, the Magdraft, every single month of the year, you fish it differently. It's not one bait that you just fish the same all the time. There's ways that you work it and the areas you throw it in and how you set it up and different type of colors that work month to month. And I probably, out of all the Magdraft fishing that I've done, I probably caught more bass on a Magdraft in the month of April than about any other month. I mean, I've caught them on it in basically almost 12 months out of the year around different parts of the country. But for the most part, when that water temperature's in the 60s and those fish are moving up shallow, that Magdraft is freaking deadly. So I want to give you guys like just a complete tutorial, refresher course. If you've never caught one on a Magdraft, I'll help you out here. And also if you have caught a lot of fish on the Magdraft, I might share a few tips with you guys that really help you guys catch some more fish in today's video. And also guys, I'll include the Megabass Magdraft links in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video. If you guys would like to use my link to get you some Magdrafts, that's a really good way to support the channel. And also, you probably heard you talking about this, guys, but I've been using this new Cast King ALTI bait cast reel. It's brand new from Cast King. They have got a sale on this thing for just 2 more days. The sale's over starting April 1st. You can get it $199, which is $30 off. And also, guys, if you use my promo code Randy10, you get another 10% off. So I'll have the Cast King link in the description, my promo code. Full titanium spool on this, guys. I think it's the only reel that's got a solid titanium spool, 11 ball bearings. It's got this vortex braking system that makes backlashes virtually non-existent anymore, but excellent reel for the money, guys. So I'll have all those links in the description there. Okay, let's get into this Magdraft thing here. The Megabass Magdraft comes in 4 different sizes. It comes in a 5, a 6, an 8, and a 10-inch. This is the 6-inch model here. Guys, this is probably the most popular one, which we'll talk about today. The size of them, let me give you a little tip on the size here. The 10-inch one, guys, I wouldn't mess with the 10-inch one unless you want to catch a giant bass. It's going to work better in lakes that you have big fish in. So if you live in Texas or California or Florida, it's a bait you might want to have. The 8-inch model, you get a lot more bites on it. It's still a really big honking bait. I'm going to pull one off of here and show you the difference between the 8 and the 6. Here's the 8-inch model right here, and here's the 6-inch model as the size comparison. But the 8-inch model also works good during the springtime of the year, but you're not going to get near as many bites on it, but the fish you get are going to be bigger. The 6-inch model is the best all-around size, and then they make a little junior 5-inch model, that'll get you smaller fish, but not quite as big ones. So you got a lot of different size options you have there. And the color options, guys, they got tons of different colors. You can see on that Tackle Warehouse website or Tackle Warehouse link I put in there. A bunch of different colors. They're all good. Just depends on the water visibility and the water clarity. If I'm fishing a little bit more off-colored water, I like the more white pearl looking ones. And if I'm fishing sort of like the cleaner water, more of a translucent looking color like this gizzard shad right here. So sort of like the same on any other lure as far as the colors on them. Excuse me. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the bait and how you want to fish it and where you want to work it. If you're not familiar again with the Magdraft, it's got a hook. It's got a magnetic insert in it that keeps the hook flush against there, but it's also got a little notch you can put one of the barbs in so the hook stays nice and hidden. Now, when I first saw this bait, I said, that's going to be a fish losing mother. Guys, this thing, once the fish are hooked on it, you don't lose hardly any fish on it. Now, they will come up occasionally and grab the tail of it because a lot of times you'll be reeling it and you'll feel a strike and they'll hit it short on the tail there. But this, for the most part, you're going to get them. Now, one tip I'll give you guys is see that little barrel swivel right there. If you're starting to get short strikers and you're not hooking them, put another barrel swivel on there. Put 2 of them. So put a split ring on this one and then add another barrel swivel and a split ring, and it'll pull that hook almost back another inch, which a lot of times will help out on those short striking fish there. So the equipment's another thing in here, guys, that's important. For every Magdraft, I use a different pound test line. If I'm using the 5-inch model, I'm using 12-pound test Seaguar and VizX line. I'll link my line link in the description of the video here too. If I'm using the 6-inch model, I use 15-pound test Seaguar. And if I'm using the 8 and the 10-inch model, I use 25-pound test Seaguar. So those are the 3 different line sizes. And another thing about the Magdraft is you want a rod that is like not too stiff and not too heavy. I like just some type of a medium heavy 7-foot type rod. I use that Megabass Perfect Pitch rod for mine. Excuse me, I think allergies here. It's a 7-foot 2-inch rod. It's medium heavy action. So that would be my setup with the thing. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about how you want to work a Magdraft, and then we'll get into the type of areas. Magdraft, for the most part, I work it the same way as far as the cadence and retrieve. The only difference I have based upon the time of the year is the depth that I fish it in. Now, the retrieve that you want to use with the Magdraft is just make your cast out there, and you want to keep your rod tip pointed straight at the bait. And the reason you want to do this is when you do this half turn that I'm talking about, the not having a bend in the rod will give that half turn a more pronounced jerk. So what I'm talking about the half turn is I'll throw the Magdraft out there, got the rod tip pointed straight at the bait. I'm reeling a slow retrieve. That's another thing, guys. You want to use a slow retrieve on the Magdraft, because if you don't, it'll roll on its side. So I got this slow retrieve, rod tip pointed straight at the bait. I'll crank it 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll give it a sharp half turn. So it's like boom, boom, boom. And what this does is this half turn, bait will be coming, slow along the bottom or wherever you reel it, slow like that. The half turn, it jerks it forward like that, and then you start again. And a lot of times when you're reeling this thing slow like that, it'll get the fish's attention and they'll be looking at it, but they're a little hesitant to bite it. And you do that quick half turn like that, and a lot of times it'll just sort of generate that instinct strike for a fish to come up and attack it. So I catch so many more fish when I do the half turn. If I just reel it straight in, yeah, you're gonna catch fish on it, but you're gonna pretty much double your bites with the half turn, for sure on it. And another thing on this is, like, when you are reeling that Magdraft and you get a strike, don't try to resist setting the hook right off the bat. It's sort of like a chatterbait. When you're reeling that Magdraft, boom, one gets it like that, just sort of keep reeling at the same time and pull into it. Don't be reeling like this and boom, you get a bite and just jerk back like that. You need to hesitate a little bit to let them get that bait in their mouth. So that's why when I get the bite, I just keep reeling until I feel the fish on the bait, and then I'll pull back and set the hook. I mean, that's hard to do. I mean, that's one of the most difficult things to do, because you have to be prepared for the strike at all times. If you're not prepared for the strike, you're gonna instinctively jerk harder, and a lot of times you're gonna miss that fish, or you're gonna barely hook them and they're gonna jump off or pull off. That's the case in a lot of different lures, guys. One of the things that I found out in bass fishing is a lot of people set the hook too quick and too hard. And if you're fishing a bait like a spinnerbait, a chatterbait, a crankbait, a Magdraft, just try to prepare for that strike, and when you feel it, just reel into it and keep it coming there. You're gonna land a lot more fish. And it's probably one of the most difficult things you can do, because especially if you're not getting very many bites, it's instinctually, when you get a bite, you want to rear back on it, but that'll cause you to lose some fish. Okay, now let's talk about specifically where you want to fish a Magdraft in April. In other months of the year, I fish a Magdraft deeper, like sometimes in the pre-spawn or the late post-spawn. I'll fish a Magdraft down 5 or 10, 15 feet underwater. I'll throw it out on a point, let it sink down 5 or 10 feet, reel it through the water column. Not so in April. April is when you want to keep this bait very close to the surface, and you want to fish shallow water with it, because fish are going to be up shallow. They're going to be thinking about spawning. They're going to be spawning. They're going to be garden fry. A lot of bass up shallow and in less than 5 foot of water. So the way that I fish the Magdraft is I go into those type of areas where I feel the bass are either spawning or moving up or getting ready to spawn. These are going to be coves for the most part, or bays. protected, shallow, flatter water, hard bottoms if possible. Throw that Magdraft just to the bank or around whatever targets you have, next to a dock, next to a lay down tree, next to a grass edge, whatever your shallow cover is, and keep that bait. You might have to keep your rod tip a little bit higher, but try to keep that bait about, 4 or 5 inches under the water, or no more than a foot. Keep it in sight is what you want to do. Because in the Magdraft, I don't like a fishing Magdraft if the water visibility is under about 2 foot. So even in 2 foot of visibility, if you have it that far into the water, you're going to see the bait. So keep that bait in sight. You want those fish to come up on that bait in April. And in April, like I said, they're going to be shallow. They're going to be up on the bank. That's the whole thing about fishing it up high in the water column. You're just going to get a lot more bites with it. But the main thing is just like there's 2 things that I have found out about the Magdraft. Number one is you got to have the right size of it and the right color. And a lot of that is experimentation. Like I said, everybody's go-to is a 6-inch model. If it's fishing's tougher or you're on a heavily fished lake or it's a little bit brighter light intensity out there, you might go to the 5-inch model. Day in and day out, can't go wrong with the 6-inch model. The 8-inch model, that is going to be for days for me where it's more of a pre-spawn deal and the water is about probably 3 to 5 foot in clarity and you have wind and clouds. That's the same with the 8 and the 10-inch model. You got to have wind, you got to have clouds, or you're not going to catch many fish on that. So anyway, guys, just a quick little video on this. There's so many people that use this Magdraft that don't talk about it, guys. Every pro in the country's got a Magdraft, just like they have a Megabass Vision 110 jerkbait. It is arguably the best swim bait in that category. The paddle tail, fixed hook swim bait. It's without a doubt the best one on the market. Just try it and you'll find out. It's been catching fish for about a decade now. So anyway, hope it helps, guys. We'll talk later.